Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Have you ever worked with someone who just seems like an absolute wizard with data, but if you look closely, they aren't actually typing out complex formulas? It's wild. Today, we're uncovering the 4 shared traits of people who use AI to work like top-tier Excel experts without actually memorizing a single function. Seriously, it's a complete game changer for how we interact with information. So here's the hook, and it totally shatters the biggest myth we've been fed in the corporate world. The secret of those who look like experts without knowing Excel isn't formulas, it's how they think. We've been conditioned to believe that mastering spreadsheets is all about rote memorization, cramming your brain full of syntax. But the real secret? It's entirely about your mindset. It's about how you approach the problem before your fingers even touch the keyboard. Here's our quick agenda for today. We're going to cover the real Excel secret, decoding raw data, simplifying the complex, asking the right queries, looking at good versus bad questions, and finally, how to master the system. Let's get to it. All right, Section 1, the real Excel secret. It's all about mindset, not memorization. Moving right along to Section 2, let's decode the raw data. This brings us to the very first trait, simply understanding what you read. So imagine looking at a basic table. When an average user looks at it, they just see a giant wall of text and numbers, right? It's overwhelming. But a true expert, they see a structured story. They instantly figure out what it's trying to say. They can easily distinguish the building blocks. Okay, this part is categorical text, this piece is a date, and this over here is a quantitative number. Before they do absolutely anything else, they've conceptually organized the data in their head. And this leads us to an undeniable truth. A person who doesn't know Excel, but deeply understands the data, is already so much closer to the right answer than a software whiz who doesn't get the business context. Basic comprehension immediately puts you on the path to asking the right questions. If you know what the data actually represents, the software just becomes a simple vehicle to get your answer. Section 3 now, simplifying the complex. This is trait number 2, tactical intelligence. Now, a true expert has this amazing habit. They pause, literally stop, before their hands ever hit the keyboard, and they ask this fundamental question: why am I doing this? It sounds so basic, right? But think about how often we just jump right into formatting cells, copying and pasting, dragging formulas down thousands of rows without ever questioning the purpose. By simply asking why, they avoid hours of unnecessary busy work and figure out the actual goal first. Which leads to a massive workflow shift. Let's say there's a task. Instead of performing 10 separate manual operations like filtering, then copying, then pasting, then formatting over and over, they step back, they use that practical intelligence to build one single underlying logical rule. It's a huge efficiency shortcut. Thinking structurally just beats working manually every single time. They let the software do the heavy lifting while they do the heavy thinking. All right, Section 4, asking the right queries. These are traits 3 and 4, and honestly, they are your ultimate business superpowers. Because here is the thing, the absolute highest level of Excel mastery isn't a formula at all. It's a decision-making question. Trait 3 is knowing how to clearly state exactly what you want from the data. But trait 4, that's the most critical one. That is the game changer. It shifts the focus entirely toward making decisions. If you're just storing numbers, you're treating a supercomputer like a digital filing cabinet. The real magic is using it to drive your business forward. A top-tier data thinker looks at a spreadsheet and immediately asks, what should I deduce from this data? They aren't looking for a simple sum or an average. They want the trend. They want the anomaly. They are actively hunting for the hidden story that those rows and columns are trying to tell them. And they always follow it up with, what is the main takeaway here? Instead of just making a pretty chart for a Tuesday morning presentation, they seek out that one piece of critical insight. If sales drop in Q3, the takeaway isn't just a downward line on a graph, right? It's a prompt to investigate supply chain issues or marketing spend. It's about finding what actually matters. Section 5. Good versus bad questions. Let's talk about how to prompt for success. Let's look at the difference between a bad prompt and an expert one. A bad question is just telling the system, do this. It's vague, it's directionless, and honestly, it just leads to dead ends. But a good question, asking something like, what are the total sales by region in this table? Notice how clear, precise, and targeted that is. They know exactly how to state what they want. When they're using AI to help you with data, the quality of your output totally depends on the quality of your input. I absolutely love this quote. And if you take one thing from this explainer, let it be this. There are many who know Excel, but very few who ask the right question. This is where your true value lies. It's your curiosity. It's your precision. You could have every keyboard shortcut memorized, but if you ask the wrong questions, you're just going to arrive at the wrong business conclusions, only a lot faster. Finally, Section 6. Master the system and transform how you think about data. Here's the bottom line. If you don't just want to learn Excel, but you actually want to use it in your business life to drive real results, you need a system that teaches you how to think right. You need a structural approach. That's exactly why learning paths like Vidaport are so powerful. They're designed to upgrade your mental software, not just hand you a boring manual of functions. A great system trains your brain to recognize patterns and formulate those high-value questions we just talked about. So, are you ready to stop memorizing and start asking the questions that actually matter? It really is time to treat data as your ultimate strategic partner. You've got the traits, you know the mindset, and you understand the immense power of asking the right query. So my final question to leave you with today is this. What question are you going to ask your spreadsheet tomorrow?